Okay, yes, the first time I tried to record this, it didn't work, so I hope this works. Doesn't help that this computer is shit, so yes, that really doesn't help things. But I haven't made a video in several months. I actually can't remember the last time I made a video. I know what the last video I made was, but I forget when I made it. I was reviewing Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, and I had reviewed Act 1 in a 15-minute video. I'm going to not do that now for a while. Partly because it's too much of an effort to read stuff that I don't like, so and that includes that play, so I don't want to have to go through Act 2, 3, 4 and 5 again before reviewing them. That just would, I would feel that that was a waste of time, to be honest. But also Shakespeare isn't here to defend himself, so it kind of feels like I'm flogging a dead corpse by attacking Julius Caesar. So yeah, and I am a writer myself, and people could bring the same criticisms about my work that I do about others, so that makes it quite difficult to actually review other works. So it's a bit kind of the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, this video is actually mainly about the marriage referendum this Friday in Ireland. We are voting on equal marriages. I'm not going to bother talking about why the no side is ludicrous, because they are. I am just going to instead talk about the fact that I am unhappy with the idea that we are having a referendum in the first place, because it's basically implying that gay marriage is only valid if the majority thinks so, and that anytime minorities in the future want to have equal rights, they're going to have to look for the approval of the majority. I don't think human rights should be up for the approval of the majority in the court of public opinion. I think it's kind of disturbing, actually. As a member of a minority myself, I relate to the gay community that I don't want to have human rights basically decided upon by people who aren't in my situation. That's kind of entitled. They've had rights for centuries and they have no right to. And no, I didn't mean that sentence ironically. They have no right to take away our rights. By our, I mean any minority group's rights. We really should be doing this the way France legalised gay marriage. The parliament just legislated for it. In France, there was no popular referendum, thank God, because thousands of French people took to the streets after to protest the fact that it was legalised. So it's a good thing that the French government had the sense not to put it to a referendum. But the Irish constitution is silly, so we have to have referendums on things like this, even though we shouldn't. It's why we don't get a lot of things done, because we have to keep putting them to the public. And referendums are expensive, and it's just, honestly, it's exhausting listening to the arguments, and I mean, I'm kind of just fed up of the no side. I heard a story today that a no campaigner actually compared the gay community to disabled people and suggested that neither group should be allowed to marry it's kind of like stuff like that that doesn't help my view that a referendum is a good thing. I don't. Oh, sorry, let me. Stuff like that doesn't persuade me that the referendum is a good thing. Really, I'm just actually beginning to hate a lot of public figures in Ireland at the minute because of this referendum, and it's just really it's really showing the snakes coming out of the woodwork. To be honest, if we were doing it at all fairly, the government would simply legalise gay marriage, and we wouldn't be voting on it, and that's how it should go, but it's not. So I am in a double bind because I don't feel that I have the right to vote in the referendum, but at the same time, if I don't vote yes, that's one less yes vote. So I feel that I am going to have to vote yes because I don't want to. Obviously, I'm not going to vote no. So, but if I don't, but as I said, I'm opposed to the idea of a referendum. But if I don't vote, it's one less yes vote. So that means possibly one more no vote. So I feel that I'm going to have to go into the voting station and vote yes. Despite my misgivings about the fact that we are basically saying that it is okay as a country for minorities' identities and human rights to be judged by the majority. I'm uncomfortable with that idea. I think human rights are human rights. They shouldn't be up for the grabs of anyone, and well, that is just me. Anyway, back to literature. Literature, yes. I will go back to literary reviews eventually. I don't know when. I mean, I kind of do want to finish my own novel first. That's the main priority. I might review my own novel as a joke. Give it 5 stars. No, it's not a 5-star novel. At the minute, I would give it maybe 2.5 or 3 stars out of 5. But it is still early days. So maybe I'm being too hard on myself. Anyway, I'm going to go back to reviewing books, but I think I'm going to stick to books that I actually like, because reviewing books that I don't like is kind of it depresses me, and I have to basically reread the book that I don't like before I can review it, so that I can remember why I disliked it in the first place, and that just makes me even more angry. So I think I will stick to books that I actually consider good. I'm reading Herman Melville's Moby Dick at the minute, and it is good, although he spends too long talking about whales. Although I know that the whale is central to the story, so I mean, I can't really complain, I guess. But I'll reserve judgment for that book until I finished. The character of Captain Ahab is fascinating. I kind of already know how the story plays out, but it's interesting to read anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm doing at the minute. I'm reading that. Anyway, this was just a video basically to say I am not gone. I think the next video I do will be about disability in literature. So yeah, look out for that. I also want to discuss some TV shows. I'm watching a really good show, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell at the minute, as well as Penny Dreadful. I am also going to review Game of Thrones, but I have stopped watching that show after the latest episode, which will be a main part of my review. That show is disgusting. So, yeah. It's an embarrassment to TV, and I'm going to have to review my song, revise my Song of Ice and Fire review. I'm just kind of sick of that series, to be honest. Yeah. Anyway, this video was mainly about the referendum, but I wanted to throw in that literature there. So yes, just to make my thoughts very clear on the referendum, I support gay marriage, but I don't support the fact that we have a referendum to legalise gay marriage. I think it's a worrying process. I think if the referendum passes, which I think it will, although I don't think it will be a high pass, a lot of European countries are going to start praising Ireland for being the first country to legalise gay marriage by the popular vote, but I don't think this is good. I think gay marriage is a human right. It shouldn't be, and as I said, I don't think it should be up for grabs. I don't think it should be used as an opinion card. So it shouldn't matter if it shouldn't matter what the populace thinks. It should matter that it's a human right and it should be respected. I mean, there is also the horrifying scenario that the referendum might not pass, which is even worse than having a referendum in the first place. And like in Croatia, that just could mean that people are voting against the idea of gay marriage, and that would set the state backwards by decades. But we shall see what happens on Friday. Well, actually, no, Saturday, since we won't get the results till Saturday. There is that other referendum as well on the presidential age, but I think that's so meaningless that not even sure why it's a referendum, to be honest. I mean, why would you have a 21-year-old as a president? Oh, no, under 35s. I mean, no, it's under 35s as presidents. No, president's kind of a pointless position anyway. Anyway, that is it. That is my thoughts. Yeah.